Hi, welcome to the curriculum night presentation for IB Language and Literature Year 2. All right, so this slide has a little bit about me, but chances are you already know me because I have had your student in junior year as well as senior year. So they probably already know me as well, so there's really no need for this slide, but I wanted to provide it just in case, just as a little reminder, since we're not actually getting to see each other during this curriculum night. So I've been teaching IB Language and Literature years 1 and 2 for the past 3 years now, which is kind of crazy to think about it. This group of students will be my second cohort, which is going through, and obviously we are continuing with the cohort model, which means that I get to teach students or have gotten to teach students in both their junior and senior years. All right, so once again, just a little review slide or reminder slide. Since your child has already been taking IB Language and Literature year 1, and now they're in year 2, then you're probably very familiar with the course, but I just want to provide a few little reminders. So obviously, it's a 2-year course. Students are completing IB coursework throughout the 2 years and during the examination period at the end of the 2 years in a combination of those 4 grades, which is the IO, individual oral, HL essay, higher level essay, paper 1, and paper 2. Those will be the grades that determine their IB grade for the course, which is based on a scale of 1 to 7. And I can talk to you a little bit further about how that happens, but the specificity, the breakdown, all those different things is a really long conversation. And I've got a time limit on this one. So if you have specific questions about that, please do reach out to me in the feedback form or via email, and both are included at the end of the slide, or at the end of this slideshow. Obviously, also IB coursework assesses skills in written and spoken communication, including research, rhetorical analysis, and literary knowledge and analysis. And obviously, students will end the course kind of with 2 grades. So they'll have an IB grade, which is going to be on a scale of 1 to 7, and then they'll also have their class grade, which is your standard grading system of 90 to 100, 91 to 100, 80 to 89, all those different types of things. Nothing has really changed there. All right, so what are we going to be doing this year? Well, we're going to be focusing on a few different assessments. One of them is a carryover from last year. So prior to the pandemic, which is an exciting and challenging new way to teach. Prior to that, we were going to be doing in-person individual orals, which is an internally assessed component of the coursework that is completed and necessary for IB. And that just means that I grade it. But right before we were about to start those, I mean, probably a week or 2 before we were about to start those, obviously all of our school systems closed down and we began to teach from home. During the time last spring, it just wasn't going to be feasible for us to do those IOs, and so we moved them to the fall. And so those are going to be what we're going to start working on as soon as students have completed and finished their HL essays, which should be this week. We'll start working on the IOs again. The IO assesses spoken communication skills, including literary and non-literary analysis combined under one field of inquiry. If you're wondering what a field of inquiry is, there are 5 different ones. One of them is culture, community, identity. Another is beliefs, values, and education. Another is science, technology, and the environment. The 4th is politics, power, and justice. And the 5th is creativity, art, and the imagination. So as I was talking about, students are currently working on making the final finishing touches to their HL essay, which is one of the externally assessed components for IB Language and Literature. And that just means that we're going to send that off. Somebody else is going to grade that. So while they have had conferences with me, and we've worked very hard on those in class, and students have worked very hard on those outside of class as well, they're going to send those off, and ultimately those grades will be determined by IB. Then we're going to have exam preparation in the spring as well. So in the spring, the students are to have 2 exams. One of them is paper 1, which asks students to complete an analysis over 2 previously unseen works. And the other one is paper 2, which asks students to complete an analysis of 2 classroom texts, 2 works that they've studied in the classroom. And more than likely, students are probably going to choose the last 2 that they've studied, which are going to be what we're talking about this semester, Persepolis by Marjane Satrapi and The Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood. We'll also continue to do exam prep, meaning that we'll review what we've learned, we will do mock exams, all those different types of things to prepare students for the exams in the spring. Additionally, even though IB has discussed the potential removal of paper 2, I still want to prepare students for it, just so that we can make sure if something changes, they are ready, able, and prepared to complete it. So as I say, your student will be reading a few different texts to prepare for these exams and for their HL essay, all of these different things. So they're going to be reading Persepolis and The Handmaid's Tale to prepare for their exams. Their HL essay was over texts read last year that they completed over the summer. And then we're also going to be reading selected nonfiction pieces from various media outlets as we review rhetorical analysis strategies and non-literary analysis as well. All right, so one of the last things that I want to talk to you about is how you can support your student. As a senior in a pandemic, they have a lot coming at them. They have a lot of new things that they're learning how to do, but they also have the old stressors, right? They have their grades, they have college applications, they have college recommendations. All of those things are stressful for kids. So I would encourage you to share how you yourself find balance, how you yourself prioritize, how you yourself plan out time to do all of the things that you need to do. Often this is something that as adults, we don't even realize we're doing it. We are just standing there in the morning, right? You're brushing your teeth and you're thinking to yourself, okay, I really have to get through these emails. I have to complete this project. I've got this big meeting coming up tomorrow, so I need to make sure I write the agenda. And you're making your to-do list in your mind, maybe not even writing it down. Or maybe you go to work and you look at your calendar when you come in on Monday mornings and you say, okay, let's see what I have going on this week. All right, now how am I going to plan so that everything that I have to do this week and every meeting that I have to be at, I'm prepared for and ready for. And you're still able to take care of yourself and your family and maybe your house and your kids and your pets. But we don't often show students how we do this. And so they are under the impression that they should just know, when in reality, this is a learned skill. So if you can teach them how you do this skill, how you implement this skill of balancing things, of planning for things, of managing all sorts of different due dates in your life, it will help them understand how they can do it in their life too, because nobody can do it all. And what I find happens a lot with our students is that they are so worried about doing everything all at one time and getting it all done that it really kind of impedes the way that they see the world and their social emotional health. So seeing how you do this could be really beneficial for them, because often kids look at their parents and they think, wow, like they just know what to do. They don't ever struggle, or they don't ever have to prioritize. They just do it all. When in reality, this is something that all adults do. We just don't talk about it as much. So talk to them about that. This will be helpful for them now, but it'll also be helpful for them in college, and it'll be really helpful for them in their own careers in the future. Also, encourage them to take risks. So with their exams, I'm going to go ahead and tell you, there's no right answer. You heard it here first. There's no right answer. Right? They're going to choose from different questions, they're going to have different texts, and they're going to have to make the right answer. And the right answer is going to be whatever is sensible and logical according to the question. And this is uncomfortable for kids, right? They really like looking at maybe multiple choice tests and saying, okay, it's definitely B. I know I have the answer right. And IB's exams are not going to be like that at all. IB's assessments are not like that at all. All of the assessments, students have to come up with their own prompts. Even during their exam, they can choose from one of multiples or create their own. So it's really important that students get really comfortable with coming up with their own ideas, coming up with their own interpretations, and thinking about those types of things, not as much about what is the right answer here, because that can be very restrictive. Finally, talk with your child about what they're reading. Ask them about books from last semester. You yourself don't have to know what the books were about. You just have to ask questions, and this will prompt your child to remember and to think about them. So you can say, hey, what was one of the books that you read last semester? Who were the main characters? What was the storyline? What would you say the climax of the story was? What was the end of it? How did the beginning start? What was something that confused you or was weird that maybe you should go back over? You don't have to know the answers to any of those questions, but just asking them will help re-energize your student to think about what they're doing, think about what they have done, and you can ask those same questions with the books that we're teaching now. And the more that students can teach you about whatever it is that we're doing, it's proven that the better understanding they'll have. So hopefully those are some ways that are kind of easy that you can do to be helpful to your student and supportive of your student this semester. All right, so maybe you still have questions. Maybe there was something that I didn't get to and you really wanted me to get to it. So here's your chance. So you can send me an email at mclemore1@fultonschools.org, or you can fill out the linked form on my website, which is going to be to the right of this video. It feels kind of strange doing that, but it's going to be to the right of this video. So the video will be playing likely over here, and I'm mirrored in my image, so this is kind of hard to see. But then the link to the feedback form will be on the right of it if you have any questions or concerns. I hope you are well. I hope your family is safe. And I'm looking forward to seeing our students soon. Bye.